Trump was in Detroit and Biden was at a fundraiser with Obama. Every 4 years, we start to see Obama pop out. Every 4 years, we start to see Obama pop out. All right, so let me bring you guys up to speed of what's happening in these streets. I had got a phone call from my homeboy, and he was like, hey, man, did you know that Trump is going to be in the city? I said, man, Trump been in the city. Trump be here, it seemed like every other weekend, and I don't know, because I could see the motorcades a lot of time, and I'm like, man, who is that in this presidential-looking motorcade? And I'm like, Biden ain't here. Oh, that's Trump. He had a whole boat parade. Candace Owens, Vivek, and all of them was at Cobo Hall, or not Cobo Hall. Us in Detroit call it Cobo. It's called Huntington. He wound up going and doing a lot of stuff, and so he came out to the hood and all of that. Trump popped out. And then also Biden had a fundraiser where he was raising money, and then he had Obama. And this is all leading up to the presidential debate supposedly happening in July. So we'll see how that happens. But let me just give you guys an update on what's going on, and then we're going to go from there.
We've done more for, and I say this, I say it proudly, more for the black population than any president since Abraham Lincoln. That's a big statement. And crooked Joe Biden has done nothing for you except talk. It's only talk. He's been the worst president for black people. Under Biden, real wages for African-American workers are down 6%. We lifted 6.6 million people out of poverty. Black Americans saw their largest increase in home ownership on record.
Former President Trump slamming Biden's record with black voters in Detroit as the two candidates are neck and neck in the key swing state. Our next.
Do you, as we evaluate and we have an honest conversation, I was in the bank. I went into the bank on Saturday morning because my bank is open from like 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. And on my way out the bank, I seen an older gentleman. He was probably like 70 or so. He was like, yeah, he here this weekend. And I said, who here this weekend? He said, Trump here this weekend. I can't take these traitors voting for Trump. And I was like, oh, man, I can't wait to vote for Trump. Where is he going to be at? I can't wait to go and support. And he just looked so disappointed. Older black man, older black gentleman. He looked so disappointed. He said, I guess everybody got the right to their opinion. I was like, yeah, man, and God bless you, man, but I can't wait to vote for Trump in this election. I got to mobilize my guys. So, I was trolling a little bit in real life. And then my homeboy that had called me and said that Trump was in town, he's like, Anton, he had texted me, he said, Anton, what is it that I should ask? Because I guess that they vet the questions and they were saying that he was going to be able to ask a question. So what is it that I should be able to ask? What should I ask in this upcoming election? And I was like, oh man, I hadn't thought about it. So I was like, yeah, maybe you should ask about the money that's going over Ukraine or whatever like that. Because other people going to ask about businesses, inflation, Biden, all of this stuff. Ask about this. And so we was kind of vetting out the question that he might ask. And then he said, man, I was at this particular event because he's a part of a delegation and a group of people that mobilize voters and stuff like that. He said, man, I was telling him, he said, we need to focus on people under the age of 55. I was like, that might be under the age of 49. Actually, he was like, yeah, you're right. He said, man, because people over the age of 55, they stuck in their ways. They not changing. They not going to evolve. They not even going to possibly listen to the issue. They so used to doing things a certain way. They just stuck in their ways. We don't even want to waste our energy on those people. We only want to focus on this demographic of people. People under the age of 55 and above the age of 24. Because young people, they're going to do whatever it is they want to do. They don't even pop out at the polls anyway. And so when we evaluate this, I want you guys to ask yourself the question, do you believe that you as an individual, doesn't matter what color you are, because we rock with everybody, not based off of the color of their skin, but based off of the content of their character, and I'm assuming that's why you're here. Do you believe that you have done better this 4 years, 2020 through 2024, than you did 2016 through 2020? Do you believe, what up, Bitcoin Brown? Do you believe that you are doing better 2020 through 2024 than you did 2016 through 2020? Just a question.
Next guest joins us live from Detroit, where he spent a few hours with Trump at yesterday's event. It's Michigan Congressman John James, who joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being with us.
Hey, thanks for having me back on.
You bet. You hear Trump's message to the black voter. We see some polling suggests he's really starting to resonate to some extent with the black voter. What do you think about that in Detroit as a possible effect for the way we see Michigan go in November?
And look, in 2016, Donald Trump came into Detroit and asked black Detroiters what we had to lose. 8 years later, Joe Biden has shown us. President Trump came back to the hood with the receipts. He went back in, he talked about rising crime. He talked about rising interest rates. He talked about rising inflation. All things that hurt black Americans the most, hurt all Americans, but hurt black Americans the most. And Pastor Sewell, I think, made a very appropriate point that President Trump was in the neighborhoods. Joe Biden goes to a big special dinner at the NAACP, and I'm not even sure President Obama even visited the neighborhoods in Detroit. But President Trump once again is showing up. Republicans are showing up, not just with FaceTime, but with better policies than the Democrats.
Well, this is what you're.
Here's the thing. I will be objective in saying this. And Maria Lovely, you so cute. I will be objective in saying this. I don't think that these politicians should be going to these churches. That aggravates me. I don't care if you're a Republican or you're a Democrat, and I'm not going to switch it up just because Trump was here, right? I do resonate with his message, and I think that he's the best candidate currently for me. You got to vote based off of your own values, look and research and understand the policies. You have two different candidates that you can evaluate as far as a 4-year span of when one was in the presidency and the other was in the presidency. So you got to make the decision for you. But I'm going to keep the same energy across the board. I didn't like it and I don't like it when I see Biden or any of these politicians, nationally, locally, or whatever, popping out at these churches. I don't think that we should be mobilizing a church or having conversations of politics inside of the church to try to influence people to vote a certain way. That's number one. And I don't think that we should do it no matter what side of the aisle that they're on. So I am 100% against that.
You're referring to Lorenzo Sewell, the senior pastor at 180 Church, said this about Obama and Biden.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right?
He wasn't a
President
hood.
Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. So thank you.
You know, the thing is, though, Congressman, on one hand, you see this outrage. On the other, this outreach, you will see a ton of messaging fed to say, in some way or another, yeah, but Republicans are racist.
Well, you know, these are their talking points because Democrats refuse to take accountability for the fact that African Americans have been doing worse decade after decade after decade after the Great Society. Democrats and frankly, have been failing African Americans, but we can't just point the finger at Democrats. Republicans have refused to go into cities and to campuses all over the country. And we have to do what the original Republicans did, march down into where people are being oppressed. Then in the slavery times, it was oppression of the body, physical bondage. Now we have the obligation to go in and have an alternative suggestion, alternative ideas, and give people the opportunity to be free from the mental bondage that Democrats have over. I absolutely believe that if 95% of African Americans continue to vote for one party, then neither party is going to have to work for the vote. In the past, Republicans have ignored the black vote because we don't think we can get it. Democrats have neglected it, but that is changing with President Trump. We are making the case, we are showing up, and people are beginning to take notice. And Donald Trump is tied in the state of Michigan because this is a real race. It's not just about black.
Somebody said, what if your pastor is also a senator? Is it somebody whose pastor is also a senator? No separation of church and state. I don't believe in any way, shape, or form that we should be having politicians campaign and look to be influenced or look to have a pastor influence the flock as to how it is that they're supposed to vote. I don't. That has nothing to do with the word of God. The church is supposed to be not only a place where we advocate for the word of God, but also a safe haven for people to be able to get the resources, the support, the help, and then also able to lean on to other people so that they can feel better or get the insight and information and the support that they need in order to live a more fruitful life. It has no bearing. I don't care what it is that y'all say. and this is what I stand on, this is what I personally believe. I don't think that politics and politicians should be having conversations trying to influence what is happening inside of the church, inside of the church. Church business is church business, and politics is politics. It's other places, if people want to see you, that you can go to in order for you to have your rallies, to have your conversations or whatever. But I'm tired of these pastors pandering to these politicians, and I don't care what side of the aisle you on, just for more visibility, or they willing to sell out their flock or sell out the word of God in order to have somebody inside of the church. I don't like it. I don't like it. And I absolutely positively believe that politics needs to be left out as far as politicians campaigning inside of the church. That's just what I stand on.
Black and white. It's not even about red and blue. It's about have
Right.
and have nots. And Democrats are making excuses, and Michigan is the center of the universe in 2024.
Really fascinating way to say it, to transition from physical bondage into modern day mental bondage.
Let me pivot for a second. So while Trump was over in Detroit pretty much all weekend, and Candace Owens and Vivek and Turning Point USA and all of these people, Biden, he was over at a fundraiser, at a dinner with Obama, and Obama basically had to lead him out as his handler when Biden froze again. Check it out. Grab him, oh. Dude is froze. Look at it. What is Biden doing? Why is Obama grabbing Biden's hand in order to lead him out? Why does he always have to have a handler with him every single time that something happens, whether it's a Juneteenth celebration on a White House lawn with all of the zesties, or he's having some kind of campaign and fundraiser? And now we starting to see Obama pop out on a regular basis. We never see Obama pop out. We don't even know where Obama be at. But now Obama is popping out in order to advocate for his friend Joe. But forget all of that. Forget all of that. This is the thing that I'm trying to convey to you guys, for me, right? And again, you need to make your own informed decision, but this is an opinion show. And so we take what it is that we see, and then we try to parse it out in order to understand exactly how it is that we need to move going forward. This is where I stand on the issue. I don't think that this guy has the capacity to be the free leader of the world. He walks like he has dementia. He freezes like he has dementia. He talks like he's forgetting his words. He slurs when he's giving speeches. This guy need to be sitting right next to Bush Jr., right? Second George W. Bush, and just be relaxing. Honestly, he's made enough money. His son is getting convicted. He's probably got a lot of stress on his body. He needs to sit down. I don't even know why the Democrats in particular would nominate this guy as the Democratic nominee for this presidential election in 2024. Honest to God, like on everything. It scares me to death to think that we basically are getting possibly somebody who may not even have all of his faculties, and it's a possibility that Kamala Harris. Look, bro, look. One of the things that we also need to take into consideration is if anything was to ever happen, and I mean anything was to ever happen, like a stroke, anything was to ever happen to the President of the United States of America, are you comfortable with whoever it is the vice president or the second in charge taking over the country and leading us forward, especially when you got Russia over there mobilizing in Cuba, you got China, you got BRICS, the whole BRICS system, you got Saudi Arabia, we're going to be covering that this week, Ukraine war, we got a proxy war in Ukraine, we got the Israel-Hamas war, and then we also have the semiconductor chip war that we have over there in Taiwan. And everything that's happening nationally, you got Sudan, you got all of this stuff that's happening all across the board. And inflation is going crazy. Are you telling me that we need Kamala in charge? Heck no, absolutely not. No way, no how. I am 100% against Listen. I would even consider it. I would consider all options because I just want to look at the policies. I would consider another Democratic nominee above Joe Biden for age reasons only. Age reasons. What is he like? 87? It's crazy. Anyways,